Is this on, Gary? Good. Okay. It's good to see everybody tonight. If you were with us on Sunday, we sang a hymn, John led for us, God Moves in a Mysterious Way. And it's one of the older ones and has a lot of good messages to it. But as I was preparing for this talk tonight, that kind of rattled around my head a little bit. This idea of a mystery. And that's something that I think grabs our attention for some reason. There's a lot of things that we find ourselves spending our times with, maybe mystery novels, maybe it's crime dramas like this. And it's intriguing to try to figure out the mystery. And, if we're watching one of these shows, one of the first things that Rhonda and I do is kind of nudge the other one. Say, yeah, that guy's not telling the truth. Or watch it, this girl's part of it. We're trying to figure out what's going on. So you could say, well, yeah, I love a good mystery. But really, when we think about it, that's not a true, accurate statement. What I love about it is solving the mystery, okay? And that's kind of borne out in us this kind of is showing my age, but when I was young, we had a lot of power outages. And we had like 4 channels to choose from. So you'd be watching your show that you liked and were all engaged in, and all of a sudden the power would go out. You were out of luck. There wasn't any Google. There wasn't anything to go back. You had to maybe call a friend who lived out of state in another time zone, ask them if they saw what the ending was, something like that. But we wanted to know. If the projector broke down, they didn't stream these things in from satellites. This was actual reel and bulb, and gears break down, and they'd come in and say, sorry, it's not going to happen tonight. You can get your refund at the front counter. A lot of times the person wouldn't be so much interested in getting the money back. They want to know, did you see the movie? What happened? Tell me what happened. We want to know. That's just how we are. But in this hymn that William Cowper has put together, he gives us the idea that we're not always going to know. It says, God moves in a mysterious way, his wonders to perform. He plants his footsteps in the sea and rides upon the storm. Deep and unfathomable minds of never-failing skill, he treasures up his bright designs and works his sovereign will. There's all kinds of things in that second verse that kind of rub us the wrong way if we're truthful about it. Unfathomable minds? What, you mean you can't know? Well, I want to know. Never-failing skill, he treasures up his bright designs. What, you mean God's holding back on me? Well, yeah. There's some things you're not going to know. And works his sovereign will. So he's doing something in the background. He's got some other purpose that's going on. Well, yeah, this shouldn't be any surprise to us. It's stated to us over and over in Scripture. In the Old Testament, in Deuteronomy 29, verse 29, the secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may follow the words of this law. Okay, so it doesn't matter how much I underline, how much I emphasize when I read it. I could put flowery butterflies all around the second part of the verse. That doesn't much overcome the impact of the first part of the verse. The secret things belong to God. Oh, I'm not sure I like that. Why are we that way? Well, what did Adam and Eve have to contend with? They pretty much had the first turnkey business. There's the garden, be in it. You've got one rule, That was kind of what it was. I don't know if you've ever seen a social experiment they do with this. They'll have go into a mall and set up a table, and all it has on it is a big red button. It says a sign that says, don't press this button. How many hits do you think they have on that? Hundreds. And why is it? People just, they want to know. And that was the same with Adam and Eve. You got one job, okay? Don't eat this fruit. I often speculate and wonder, how long did that take to happen? I would probably say it happened within the week that all of this happened. But what happened there with the devil coming to them? He tempted them, right? It was all about this idea, I've got to know. With this normal tendency for them to be wondering about the fruit anyway, Satan comes in and says, well, God doesn't want you to have that because then you'll know as much as he does. Oh, well, that's a big temptation right there. It's kind of hardwired into us. We want to know. When we were raising the kids when they were smaller, we'd do this thing on Saturday morning. Rhonda and I would have coffee time. That's obviously not a picture of us because there's unpacked boxes behind us, and that would never fly at our house. You don't have coffee before things are unpacked. But That's a representation of what we would do. We sit and we'd tell the kids, you stay upstairs, clean your room, read a book, clean a book. We don't care. You're up there. We're down here. It's adult time. It's our conversation. You don't need to be a part of it. How long do you think it would take before we'd hear a little pitter-patter? Head coming around the corner. What you guys talking about? This is adult conversation time. They did not like that because they were told, you don't need to know, or you're not capable of understanding or knowing what we're talking about. This is not for you. Well, how does that sit with us? It doesn't get any better with age. God telling us the exact same things. But we know that God's ways are higher than ours. Romans 11:33 and 34. Oh, the depth and the riches of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable his judgments and his paths beyond tracing out. Who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counselor? Kind of an extreme idea there. You know, who does God go to for advice? He doesn't. You know, but a lot of the times in our lives, we think for some reason that we should be on that level. We should know what's going on. This is especially true when we're having troubles or we're hitting snags in life, struggles that we're going through. It seems to be that is a prime time for us to be wondering, why is this happening to me? I want to know what's going on. We question God, maybe. William Cowper addresses this in one of the verses of the song. His purposes will ripen fast, unfolding every hour. When I'm going through a struggle, I don't know how much comfort that is. I have a tendency to tell Mr. Cowper, hey, this doesn't feel fast or like it's unfolding in an hour. This is a struggle I'm going through. It's real time for me. But when we look at it and we get past it, that's when we can realize, okay, this was just another bump in the road. This is another thing for me to get over. He continues there, the bud may have a bitter taste, but sweet will be the flower. This idea that, okay, what is happening now might not be a good thing. It's not going to be pleasant. It's not going to be anything that we're going to enjoy. But later on, maybe we look back on that time and see, if not a benefit for me, maybe it's a benefit for somebody else. Something good has come through and come of this struggle that I've gone through. Well, with that in mind, you might ask, why should I trust God with that? Sacrifice that he made. Knowing that he loved us enough to do that, I think we can trust God knows what he's doing with all the other mysteries that we have in our lives. So that's the lesson for tonight. We talked about struggles. A lot of us, everybody goes through them. If you have any struggle that you have tonight, we can help you with prayers. Feel free to come down. Also, if you want to put Christ on as your Redeemer, your baptism, that's available for you tonight too. If you have any need, come as we stand and sing.